Yeah, man, our Father, Son, and Holy Spirit with us. Yeah, specifically with me, it's like I already had a relationship built up with our Father, and I just felt like I was denying that I was, like, I don't even know how to really explain it. Just let the Father, Father, Son, Holy Spirit flow. It's just, I feel like I was just denying, this existence, the godliness, as the scripture says. I don't know it off the top of my head, but just denying the power of our Father in heaven. Still, even though I knew who I was talking to, and I knew who he was, but still denying who he was, you know what I'm saying? And still not understanding his powers. I'm still learning each and every day who our Father in heaven is, who the Messiah is, and who the Holy Spirit is. But I'm not gonna, it's like for example, me and my wife, is like, we've been together for this time, we should know things about each other, you know what I'm saying? Like, we should not act like we don't know these basic things about one another and these advanced things about one another, you know what I'm saying? Because we've been with each other for this amount of time. And don't deny that I'm acting like this way, like, don't act like I'm this when you know for sure I'm not that thing and I'm this thing, you know what I'm saying? If that makes sense, but yeah, that's basically where I was with the stuff. And yeah, I had to just stop being a little boy, gotta grow for real. And therefore the people strove with Moses and said, give us water to drink. And Moses said to them, why do you strive with me? Why do you try our Father in heaven? And the people thirsted there for water. And the people grumbled against Moses and said, why did you bring us out of Egypt to kill us and our children and our livestock with thirst? Then Moses cried out to our Father in heaven, saying, what am I to do with this people? Yet a little, and they shall stone me. And our Father in heaven said to Moses, pass over before the people, and take with you some of the elders of Israel, and take in your hand your rod with which you struck the river, and go. See, I am standing before you there on the rock in Horeb, and you shall strike the rock, and water shall come out of it, and the people shall drink. And Moses did so before the eyes of the elders of Israel, and he called the name of the place Massa and Meribah, because of the strife of the children of Israel, and because they tried our Father in heaven, saying, is our Father in heaven in our midst or not? And Amalek came and fought with Israel and Rephidim. And Moshe said to Joshua, choose for us men and go out, fight with Amalek. Tomorrow I am stationing myself on the top of the hill with the rod of Elohim, God, in my hand. And Joshua did as Moshe said to him, to fight with Amalek. And Moshe, Aaron, and Hur went up to the top of the hill. And it came to be, when Moshe held up his hand, that Israel prevailed. And when he let down his hand, Amalek prevailed. But Moses' hand were heavy. So they took a stone and put it under him, and he sat on it. And Aaron and Hur supported his hands, one on one side and the other on the other side. And his hands were steady until the going down of the sun. And Joshua defeated Amalek. Joshua, our brother. It's a beautiful blessing how Moshe, he got up to just see the land. And Joshua, got us through, battled again. As you can see, Joshua was battling, fighting these wars, throughout, being a willing vessel for our Father in heaven, out there doing that footwork, and Moshe, this is beautiful how the process of this happened, them getting out of the land, them getting to the land, and then them getting the land, and then just the whole process of the scriptures. And then it's like everything was a build up, just the revelations in the end, from Genesis all the way to Revelations. It's so amazing to me. I love it. Joshua defeated Amalek and his people with the edge of the sword. And our Father in heaven said to Moses, write this for a remembrance in the book, and recite it in the hearing of Joshua, that I shall completely blot out the remembrance of Amalek from under the heavens. And Moses built a slaughter place and called its name, our Father in heaven, Nisi. For he said, because a hand is on the throne of Yah, our Father in heaven is to fight against Amalek from generation to generation. And Jethro, the priest of Midian, Moses' father-in-law, heard of all that our Father in heaven had done for Moses and for Israel and his people, that our Father in heaven had brought Israel out of Egypt. And Jethro, Moshe's father-in-law, took Tisporah, the wife of Moses, after he had sent her back, and her two sons, of whom the name of one was Gershom, for he said, I have been a sojourner in a foreign land, and the name of the other was Eleazar, for he said that the El of my father was my help, and delivered me from the sword of Pharaoh. Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, came with his sons and wife to Moshe in the wilderness, where he was encamped at the mountain of El. And he said to Moses, I your father-in-law Jethro, am coming to you with your wife and her two sons with her. And Moses went out to meet his father-in-law, and bowed down and kissed him. And they asked each other about their welfare. And they went into the tent. And Moses told his father-in-law all that our Father in heaven had done to Pharaoh and to the Mitzrites for Israel's sake, all the hardship that had come upon them on the way. And our Father in heaven had delivered them, and Jethro rejoiced for all the good which our Father in heaven had done for Israel, whom he had delivered out of the hand of the Mitzrites. And Jethro said, blessed be our Father in heaven, who has delivered you out of the hand of the Mitzrites, and out of the hand of Pharaoh, and who has delivered the people from under the hand of the Mitzrites. Now I know that our Father in heaven is greater than all the mighty ones. Indeed, in the matter in which they acted proudly above them, do not act proudly above them. Then Jethro, the father-in-law, stay humble. Then Jethro, the father-in-law of Moses, brought an ascending offering other slaughterings under our Father in heaven. And Aaron came with all the elders of Israel to eat bread with the father-in-law of Moshe before our Father in heaven. And it came to be on the next day that Moses sat to rightly rule the people, and the people stood before Moshe from morning until evening. And when the father-in-law of Moses saw all that he did for the people, he said, "What is that you are doing for the people? Why do you sit by yourself? And all the people stand before you from morning until evening." He's putting that work. And Moses said to his father-in-law, "Because the people come to me to seek our Father in heaven. When they have a matter, they come to me, and I rightly rule between one and another." I rightly rule between one and another. This is a person rightly ruling between one and another through our Father in heaven, and make known the laws of our Father in heaven and his Torah, his teaching. And the father-in-law of Moses said to him, What you are doing is not good. Both you and these people with you shall certainly wear yourselves out, for the matter is too heavy for you. It wasn't good because it was just too heavy upon this one being. For you are not able to do it by yourself. Now listen to my voice, your elder. You feel me? Now listen to my voice. Let me counsel you, and our Father in heaven be with you. Stand before our Father in heaven for the people. Stand before our Father in heaven for the people, and you shall bring the matters to our Father in heaven. You shall enlighten them concerning the laws and the teaching. Show them the way in which they should walk, and the work which they do. But you yourself seek out from all the people able men who fear our Father in heaven, men of truth, hating unfair gain, and place these over them to be rulers of thousands, rulers of hundreds, rulers of 50s, and rulers of 10s. Feel me? And they shall rightly rule the people at all times. And it shall be that they bring every great matter to you, but they themselves rightly rule every small matter. So make it lighter for yourself. And that's something that I had to understand too. Make it lighter for yourself, for they shall bear with you. You got brothers and sisters out here working with you, which our Father, Messiah, Holy Spirit showed me. You feel me? I mean, if you do this word, and our Father never shall command you, then you shall be able to stand, and all these people also go to their place in peace. And Moses listened to the voice of his father-in-law, his elder, and did all that he said. And Moses chose able men out of all Israel. That's how you know you can listen to an able man. You know, somebody listening. You know, that's wisdom, blessed with wisdom from my Father in heaven. You mean? There's nothing wrong with that. We can get help. And Moses from another person, you know. And Moses chose just being a willing vessel, you know what I'm saying? It's all praise to our Father, Messiah, Holy Spirit, though. You know, it's him doing this stuff, but there are willing vessels. Willing vessels is the key word, because they don't have to do the stuff that they're doing, you feel me? He didn't have to say to them. He's been a willing vessel. And Moses chose able men out of all Israel, and made them heads over the people, rulers of thousands, rulers of hundreds, rulers of 50s, and rulers of 10s. Because what I just learned from our Father in heaven is that, I said it on the video before, but basically with our Father in heaven, it's like he really asks you to do stuff for real, and it's either you're going to be a willing vessel and do it, or you're going to be a willing vessel and not do it, you know. And if you're a willing vessel not doing it, then you're a willing vessel for Satan, you know, because you're not doing what our Father in heaven is asking you to do. You're doing what Satan is willing you to do, you know what I'm saying? Let's just do what our Father in heaven needs us to do, and just to be real and be true, you know. And the blessing about that is it's just accepting yourself and being real and being true with yourself for real. And they rightly ruled the people at all times. The hard matters they brought to Moses, but they rightly ruled every small matter themselves. And Moses sent off his father-in-law, and he went away to his own land. Amen. It's okay to not know something, you feel me? Because it says they rightly ruled every small matter for themselves. The bigger matters they didn't really understand, you know. And again, this is just humbling for me as I'm reading it for real, because this is all facts. It's all facts. Now we're going to take it, Father willing, to Numbers 32, 1 through 12. I think I already passed it, my bad. Yep. Numbers 32, 1 through 12. And the children of Reuben and the children of Gad had much livestock, a large number, and they saw the land of Yasser and the land of Gilead, and saw that the place was a place for livestock. So the children of Gad and the children of Reuben came and spoke to Moses and to Eleazar the priest and to the leaders of the congregation, saying, Ataroth and Debian and Yazer and Nimrah and Heshbon and Eliaele and Sabam and Nebo and beyond the land which our Father in heaven has stricken before the congregation of Israel is a land for livestock, and your servants have livestock. And they said, if we have found favor in your eyes, let this land be given to your servants as a possession, and do not let us pass over the Jordan. And Moses said to the children of Gad and to the children of Reuben, are your brothers to go into the battle, while you yourselves sit here? Now, why do you discourage? Or your brothers are to go into battle while you yourselves sit here? You know, let's go. We all got work to do. Now, why do you discourage? Now, Why do you discourage the heart of the children of Israel from passing over into the land which our Father in heaven has given them? Thus your fathers did when I sent them away from Kadesh Barnea to see the land. For when they went up to the Wadi Eshcol and saw the land, they discouraged the heart of the children of Israel, so that they did not go into the land which our Father in heaven had given them. Then the displeasure of our Father in heaven burned on that day, and they swore an oath, saying, not one of the men who came up from Mizraim from 20 years old and above is to see the land of which I swore to Abraham, Yitzchak, and Jacob. And then again, it's beautiful to understand that literally our Father in heaven is doing things because he's our Father in heaven, and he's going to prove to the whole world that he's our Father in heaven. That's one thing that, I've been willed to be able to figure out in this fleshly, humanly body, that these things, like, he's not doing these things for the sake of us. He's doing these things for the sake of himself, proving himself to us. That's why it's a continual proving of ourselves to him, because he's literally already proven himself to us by creating us and creating everything in 6 days, and then, Father willing, later down the line, we as humans, like me, Dylan, got created after I was already willed to be made, but it was already, I got created, after the 6 days of creating, heavens and earth, and then, all this stuff is it's just beautiful. It's just amazing, But what was I just at? So it is to see the land of which I swore to Abraham, Yitzchak, and Jacob, because they did not follow me completely, except Caleb, son of Yefunah, the Kenizzite, and Joshua, son of Nun, for they have followed our Father in heaven completely. So we have to follow through and follow our Father in heaven completely. So now we're going to go to Isaiah 43 and 4. Which is actually what I'm in my personal reading. I'm in Isaiah 30, I believe. My personal reading. Okay, cool. So Isaiah 43 and 4. These are like my favorite verses. I actually just read from 40 down to when our Father wills me to stop. Comfort my people, says your Father in heaven. Speak to the heart of Jerusalem and cry out to her. I love Isaiah. That her hard service is completed, that her crookedness is pardoned, that she has received from the hand of our Father in heaven double for all her sins. The voice of one crying in the wilderness, prepare the way of our Father in heaven. Make straight in the desert a highway for our El. Let every valley be raised, and every mountain and hill made low. And the steep ground shall become level, and the rough places smooth. And the esteem of our Father in heaven shall be revealed, and all flesh together shall see it. From the mouth of our Father in heaven has spoken. The voice said, cry out. And he said, what do I cry? All flesh is grass, and all its loving commitment is like the flowers of the field. Grass shall wither, the flower shall fade. When the Spirit of our Father in heaven is blown on it, truly the people is grass. Grass shall wither, the flower shall fade, but the word of our Father in heaven stands forever. That's amazing to me. You who bring good news to Tisian, get up into the high mountain. You who bring good news to Jerusalem, lift up your voice with strength. Lift it up, be not afraid. Say to the cities of Yehuda, see your Father in heaven. See the Master, our Father in heaven, comes with strength, and his arm rules for him. See, his reward is with him, and his recompense before him. He feeds his flock like a shepherd. He gathers the lambs with his arms and carries them in his bosom. Let him carry you in his bosom, gently leading those who are with young. Who has measured the waters in the hollow of his hand, and measured the heavens with a span, and continued the dust of the earth in a measure, and weighted the mountains in scales and the hills in a balance? Who has meted out the Spirit of our Father in heaven, or as his counselor taught him? With whom did he take counsel, and who instructed him, and taught him in the path of right ruling? Who taught him knowledge, and showed him the way of understanding? See, nations are as a drop in a bucket, and are reckoned as dust on the balance. See, he lifts up isles as fine dust, and Lebanon is not enough to burn, nor is beast enough for an ascending offering. All nations before him are as a non-entity, and they are reckoned by him as less than a speck in emptiness. And to whom would you like an El? And what likeness would you compare to him? The workman molds a graven image, and the goldsmith overspreads it with gold, and the silversmith casts silver chains. He who is to pour for such an offering chooses a tree that does not rot. He seeks for himself a skilled craftsman to prepare a carved image that does not totter. I may have found the silence, but I'm going to have to stop when I start it again.